So here's the deal. I'm a Strat guy through and through, right? The reality is I own about 45 guitars. That's a lie. It's totally more than that, but that's about the number that I'm comfortable saying. I have not ever had a humbucker guitar where I felt like this is the expression of my voice through humbuckers. I've been looking for it forever. And I feel like when I play the Strat, it's just the most effortless version of who I am as an artist and my voice on the instrument. But I feel like, that being said, I still have a little bit of a limited palette to draw from as far as my tones are concerned. A lot of the Al McKay, Earth, Wind & Fire stuff, the George Benson sort of sound. There's just certain R&B tones that I haven't been able to get with single coils. Or I can get kind of close, but it's like the top end has a little bit too much of a thing. Or then if I get the low end right, the top end's not quite there. So it's just like, all right, I got to find something with humbuckers to make it happen. And I love the look of the Joe Dart Jr. bass. And I was like, guys, give me humbuckers and 6 strings on that thing, ship it over, and we're good. Like, yeah, it doesn't quite work like that. I'm like, it could though. Like, you know, they're like, no, it can't. So the reality is, it takes a lot more than that. And they're just like, well, what void are you trying to fill? Like, why not a 335? Why not the Lukather signature guitar? Like, we'll send you some guitars if you want a humbucker guitar. I was like, okay, send me some of those guitars and I'll tell you what they do or don't do and what I'm looking for. Because I basically wanted to have 2 main guitars. This is my main axe, and then this gives me literally everything else. And I kind of gave them the vision of what I was looking for. I was like, you know, when Blink-182 calls, I want this bridge pickup to be the appropriate thing. And when Weezer calls, I want it to be the appropriate thing. And also, like, if I got a sub for Satriani on a solo, you know, God forbid, I want it to be able to pull that off. They're like, okay, asking a lot out of us, but sure. Out of this guy, I wanted the Benson thing. I wanted the kind of Larry Carlton 335 sound, some of the Al McKay R&B thing. And, you know, as I'm describing, you know, Al McKay and Tom DeLonge are 2 very different guitar players. And to be able to make those 2 things make any sort of sense on one guitar, maybe was the bigger challenge, because each pickup on their own, sure, they can figure that out. The engineers are good enough. Like, we know what you're looking for. But the challenge was, how can we put them in one guitar and make it feel like it makes sense? And that's where I had to kind of give a little bit of direction. Here's what I think guitar players want when they want this and they want this. Here's how I think we can utilize a tone knob and not be afraid of it. Or, like, you know, a lot of times these tone knobs, like, it's cool here, and then I'm never going to pull it below 6 or something. You know, so we started to dial into some details. I talked about certain things that I was looking for, and they sent a few prototypes. We're like, we're close, but we just want to make sure that each of them individually work. And it did. And then eventually we got to the point where it's like, oh yeah, these things really can coexist in the same instrument. It starts with understanding how to utilize overdriven tones and clean tones in each pickup on their own. And we found a way to voice them in a way that when they're overdriven, they do one thing, and when they're clean, they kind of do another. So with the neck pickup, that to me was the one that I really wanted to dial in. That's the one I was most interested in. I wanted to kind of get the Benson thing, but not lose the top end articulation. I wanted, in a lot of ways, a thicker Strat tone with a rounder top end and a little bit of a boosted low mids. I was like, I tried that in a bunch of different single coils in my guitar. I was just like, I can't really get it to happen. And what we did is took kind of a standard 335 style humbucker, voiced it a little bit different. The low end was the part that was kind of hard to nail, because the top end, they had the roundness to it. It had the warmness. But sometimes the low end would just feel a little too beefy. So we were able to, I don't know how they did it. When I say we, I mean, I told them what I wanted. And they're like, yeah, we can make that happen. Pull out a little bit of the low mids in the pickup to make it work. And we tried a couple different magnets, and one of them, it worked great for the clean thing, but it just like didn't sound amazing, overdriven. So we tried a new magnet. It was like, what was that? And they're like, I don't know. We just tried, like, we were just trying stuff, and it worked great. So that was the neck pickup. And in the bridge pickup, to me, the majority of bridge pickups that exist out there are just too bright for my own taste. Fine. You know, like I want to have a bridge pickup with the Soothe 2 plug-in built into it or something, you know? And that's literally how I described it to them. This sort of thing is there. And then also this neck pickup, you know, kind of getting the Earth, Wind, and Fire thing. It still has that top end spank, but there's a little more to the low end that doesn't get overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And I think with a lot of other guitars that I was playing through that are traditionally known for playing that style, it just felt like there was too much in the low end, and a lot of them, I found that they were overdriving. It just like never felt clean enough when I wanted to be clean. Mm-hmm. So these ones, you know, I just feel like they're in a lot of ways just a little bit cleaner in the thing. So it also comes through, like if I'm playing, you know, that sort of thing is. I don't know, just the clarity of the notes with this pickup. And even if I pull it way back. Okay, also, so I want to be able to play my. Right, yeah. Got to satisfy 6th grade Cory here. But the other thing is, like, guess what? Cory grew up and learned a bunch of Steely Dan tunes. He wants to be able to play the same tone and still understand the chord qualities. Mm-hmm. So the challenge with this pickup was I still want to be able to play some of the spicier voicings and not have it just feel like in there, you know, which sometimes happens with different pickups. Like that, in a lot of pickups, I felt just had like a different. It's the only way I can describe it. Uh-huh. You got to do it. That's what I was hearing. But this, for whatever reason, the way that it's voiced, I still hear and I have a little bit of that. It feels like the clarity of the voicing is still there. So, for example. A lot of other guitars I was playing, just as soon as you start playing dissonant voicing, like I can still pick out every note in there.